Hello, I am back with some very warm and cozy cards. So I live in Idaho, and today is a very cold and rainy day. I love to see the fall coming into season and love to see these rainy days. But it got me thinking about my Pendleton wool blankets. And so I thought, well, wouldn't it be fun to make a card that looked like that? And Warmest Wishes was a wonderful sentiment for this card. And while I was at it, I made one that said hugs, and I love that gray felt. It just looks so cozy, and I can't wait to send these out. But I was also really excited to share them. So I started off by using these simple hearts from Birch Press along with the jumbo Lingo hugs. Now that heart is a part of a nested die set. I also put double-sided adhesive onto the back of the piece of wool. Now I wanted to show a couple of tips here. So when cutting the wool face up with the double-sided adhesive on the back, it's not going to come apart. So I just flip it over. I kind of measured where I was doing 1/4 of an inch here, and then if you flip it over and do one cut, it'll come right off. I wanted to show if you cut from the back side, the adhesive part, the fibers will not release. So to help those release, it's super simple. I just took a pair of scissors and went along my cut line, and that works too. So I also wanted to show the tape roll that I'm using here, and I just unrolled a little bit of it and then stuck the felt on. And this is kind of a double-sided adhesive. We see them a lot in the 1/4 inch size. This is the large 6-inch size. So it works just the same way as a double-sided adhesive. And I actually made a little felt sticker. I thought that'd be cute for the outside of an envelope, and it really has good sticking power. Now die cutting with the adhesive on the back works great, and so I wanted to show that. Here is an example of where I put it onto a piece of cardstock with the double-sided adhesive and tried to run that through my Big Shot with the metal plate adapter, and it does not cut all the way through. So I just suggest using the double-sided adhesive on the back of the felt. That worked best for me. And then the strips, I just cut them into 1/4 inch pieces with a little 1/8 inch in between the colors, and that just stuck them down and tried to get them as close together as possible so that everything is just a real nested tight look, and that worked really well. I did use a very sharp blade with my cutting. Actually, a rotary would probably be best for this, but I was able to use it with my little Fiskars with a brand new blade. Now, I used the shadow with this hugs. It's got a big shadow that you can either inlay or lay the smaller letters over top. And because of the nature of the felt, and with the S and the G there's some odd parts. I wanted those letters to make sure and fit. So that's why I kind of nested that in together, and it had enough staying power for me to glue it. And then I just placed that down. And then I continued with the rest of my pattern. Now, I did measure this out, and I thought it was going to turn into the regular A2 size card, but my measurement on the white space was off, and so this one turned out to be just a little bit shorter than I had planned on, but it's still okay because I was able to cut this down. I do have a rotary cutter as well, and so I used that to cut down my final piece, and then I just matted it onto my card base. And so every piece that I made today turned out to be a little different in size, and I think it's just kind of the nature of the cutting the felt and all of that. So I just kept going. This was quite a bit smaller than I had planned, but I just cut the pieces off the back end, and then I went ahead and did cut that down. And it just does not bother me that it's that it's smaller. It worked out really well. I'll show you here in a second what I did. But here I am. This is the only layer on this card. Everything else is inlaid. So that hugs is inlaid into that white, but the top gray part is resting on top of there. And what I wound up doing is after I put this together, I ran it through my die cutter with no dies in it, just the plates, and flattened it out really well. And I love how that turned out. This is a little tip for getting everything nice and clean. Lots of little fibers stick, and when you're using black and all these colors and white, it's easy for them to all stick together when you're creating the project. So I just took some light tack tape and went over top, and then that also helped me realize where I needed to glue down that little S a little bit more, and that worked really well. And the Warmest Wishes sentiment I thought was perfect for this, and it's actually part of the Berry Wreath stamp set by Memory Box. So I wanted to share that. And then here I am matting it, and I didn't have room to cut it down to mat it on all four sides, and so I thought just the top and bottom of the card base would be a good way to do that. And then I did mat the inside as well, so that there was nice room for writing. And I love how this card turned out. In real life, it is so, these are so cozy looking, and they're wonderful. If you like Pendleton type rugs, which I just love them. But thank you so much for stopping by today, and I will see you again soon. Have a great day.